biofilms is not really known to many people, especially those that don't have a strong scientific background. Being a science major myself, first when I heard of it, I thought it was something to do with biology and technology, because it's biofilms, but definitely that's not the case. Um, Biofilms is a very complex subject, but it should be, and it can be, explained in a very simple way to many people out there in order to let you guys know what it is, how it grows, and prevent them. So what is a biofilm? A biofilm is a community of microorganisms or germs, but I'll refer to them as microorganisms here. They're either attached to each other or they get attached to the surface, and then they're encased in this matrix. And this matrix is really thick and really sticky, and it's actually called an EPS or extra polysaccharide matrix. But for here, we'll just say that it's something that's really sticky and full of so many molecules like glucose and stuff like that that make it really sticky. So they grow differently from free living things. They're usually sessile and they stick together and in one place. So how do they grow? They need a nice surface, moisture, nutrients, and several microbes. Whenever they find those four things, a biofilm is most likely to grow. So how does it grow? First of all, they're reversibly attached, and then they grow and mature together, and then they detach. So the most important thing to think about when talking about a biofilm is that bacteria talk together, not in the way we talk, but by signals. So we can think of it in a way that a team member usually they reach a goal really easily, but one person doesn't reach a goal easily. So when these bacteria all communicate to each other, and they're going to have a very high density, they reach a threshold, and then when that happens, a biofilm is formed. So this is just a picture to explain how it is. They attach to each other, they grow together, and then they just disperse. And this is the core sensing diagram where group behaviors tend to be better than individual behaviors. Now to give you a better idea about what it is,
Oh my.
it usually grows on skin and in objects. It could either grow in your feet, on your teeth. It could also grow on several objects such as contact lens or pipes. They're biofilm associated, and 65% of all microbial infections are related to biofilm growth. So that's a very huge number. And biofilm infections play a role in otitis media, which is in your ear. They play a role in chronic wounds, such as when you have a very open wound that can't be healed properly. Recurrent tonsillitis, urinary tract infections for ladies, and periodontal disease, which is in your mouth and your gums. So chronic biofilms, the meaning of that, like I just said before, is that the wounds don't easily heal. You can't just have it, like if you have a cut, it easily heals, but for a wound, it doesn't. Medical biofilms is usually acquired in hospitals, and they're usually in implants if you have an open surgery. They're going to be in tubes that you put into your ear when you have infections in your ear, pacemakers, and prosthetic devices. So having a surgery could also have its side effects because of these infections. So this is an example of an eardrum. Up it's normal, but then when someone has an infection there, you can see that biofilm forming, how thick it is. This is a picture of someone's leg. Again, that sticky matrix, it's all white and very, very thick. In order to take it out, you have to cut it off, and sometimes you have to cut off some of the healthy cells, because if you keep one tiny cell there, it's going to grow all over again, so you have to cut it all off. And usually this is done before amputations are done, so you don't usually have to have an amputation, but it depends on the case. So where are they found besides your body? They're found in factories, in ships, sometimes in airplanes as well, medical implants, food processing, cooling water factories, and several areas that could start forming. And that's more of a fungal type of biofilm, but again, it could grow on your bathroom or even on your toilet seats. So, because they like that moisture, so if you keep something wet for a long time and don't dry it, that's where it could grow. Pipes are another example. That's why if you own a home or something, you have to make sure these things and have them replaced every now and then. Your teeth. So if you right now feel the back of your teeth with your tongue and there's a layer, a very hardened layer, that means you have to go to the dentist because you have to get that removed. You have to get that removed because if you don't, you could go to your gums and then that would be gross. So, go to your dentist twice a year. Contact lens. Contact lens. So if you wear contacts, make sure you always clean them in solutions. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but on the left is the red, which is forming a biofilm by some species of bacteria. And then the blue one is like it's a clean surface. So you can see the difference there, a surface form. Diabetic feet. So diabetic patients, really sorry about this. Diabetic patients, especially if you have family members, they tend to not feel their extremities, such as their toes and their fingers. So if they step on a rock or a needle or anything, they won't feel it. And if they live alone, they won't realize that something just happens. So they go to the hospital and they're like, okay, this is what I have. They don't really recognize it. Gas gangrene is some type of bacteria makes these gases inside your body, and they spread really fast. So usually amputation is what they have to do for that. So now that you saw all these pictures, you know that biofilm is 1,000 times more resistant. That's why you cannot use antibiotics. So how could you prevent it? So far, there's a lot of research going on by scientists to try and do research to inhibit that quorum sensing I talked about earlier, that cell-cell communication, the T members. So in order to inhibit that, biofilm could be prevented and not form. And if you know anyone who has a biofilm, it's important to go to a wound specialist and not just to a doctor, because they usually first debride it before making an amputation. So you don't have to lose your entire body part. Antibiotics may not be effective to remove it, so usually it's by debridement, by either like a knife or a scalpel or something, and amputations. So we talked about what a biofilm is, how it grows, several ways to prevent it by being clean, washing yourself, washing your bathroom, your room, your house. They grow in a matter of days to weeks to months, so it's very essential to receive treatment as soon as possible.